They thought he'd fail. They thought it would be funny. And John Neely Kennedy knew it when his name was called for the high school talent show auditions. A ripple of laughter passed through the crowded gymnasium. He could hear it low chuckles. The kind people make when they already know the punchline. Some kids covered their mouths. Others didn't bother. Even the judges, 3 teachers seated at a long folding table, shared quick sideways glances as if silently asking, "Is he serious?" John's hands were clammy as he walked to the center of the stage. The microphone was slightly too high for his 17-year-old frame. And when he adjusted it, the squeal of feedback made the audience wince. A boy in the back muttered, just loud enough for others to hear, "This is going to be good, but not in a kind way." John wasn't what you'd call popular. He was tall, a little awkward, and spoke with a slow, deliberate drawl that some people mistook for shyness. He wore the same worn sneakers every day and carried an old backpack with frayed straps. People didn't really see John not the real John. They saw the surface and decided he was just another quiet kid blending into the background. So, when someone he never found out exactly who signed him up for the talent show auditions under vocal performance, it was clearly meant as a prank. The rumor spread quickly. John Kennedy was going to sing. That alone was apparently enough to make it the day's entertainment. He knew about it only the night before, when a friend hesitantly asked if he was really going to go through with it. You don't have to, she said. But John, for reasons he couldn't fully explain at the time, just nodded and replied, "I think I will." The truth was, John could sing beautifully, in fact, but no one at school had ever heard him. Singing was private for him, something he did when the house was empty or when he was walking his dog through the woods behind his home. His late father had been a musician, a local country singer with a warm, rough-edged voice that could make a song feel like it belonged to you. John grew up listening to his father hum lullabies before bed and strum his guitar on quiet evenings. When his father passed away 3 years earlier, John stopped singing in public entirely. It felt too personal, too raw, like opening a door he wasn't ready to step through. But standing backstage now, with the laughter echoing in his ears, something in him stirred. Maybe it was defiance. Maybe it was his father's voice in his memory saying, "Son, don't ever let M tell you who you are." The music teacher called out, "Whenever you're ready, John." He took a deep breath. His eyes scanned the audience faces, expectant, smirking, waiting for the crescendo burn moment they could talk about at lunch. And then he closed his eyes. The first note that left his lips was soft but steady, rich with emotion. A hush fell over the room, sudden and complete. The laughter stopped. The snickers died mid-breath. His voice, warm and haunting, filled the gym with a power none of them had expected. He sang an old ballad his father used to sing to his mother's song about love, loss, and hope. His tone carried the ache of memory, the tenderness of someone who had truly felt the words by the time he reached the chorus. Even the teachers were leaning forward, captivated. The gym, which had moments ago felt like a hostile place, now felt intimate, almost sacred. And then came the final verse. John's voice swelled, breaking slightly on the last line, not from strain, but from emotion. The final note lingered in the air before fading into silence. For 3 heartbeats, no one moved. Then the applause came, hesitant at first, then building into something that shook the rafters. People stood. They stood. Some whistled, some clapped until their palms hurt. And others simply stared at him in stunned disbelief. John opened his eyes and saw the same kids who had laughed now looking at him with a mixture of awe and guilt. The boy in the back who had been so eager to see him fail was clapping, his mouth slightly open. The judges exchanged quick, impressed looks before the music teacher said, "John, welcome to the talent show." In the days that followed, something shifted. People in the hallways greeted him, some awkwardly, some sincerely. Friends he didn't know he had began to appear. Even the ones who had laughed the loudest now spoke to him with a newfound respect. But for John, the real victory wasn't the applause or the sudden popularity. It was knowing he had faced the moment, not hidden from it. He had turned their joke into his stage. He had taken their low expectations and shattered them in the most personal way possible by showing who he truly was. On the night of the actual talent show, he sang again, this time with his father's old guitar strapped over his shoulder. The gym was packed, the applause even louder. But the most important part came afterward, when an elderly woman approached him with tears in her eyes and said, "That song. It reminded me of my husband. Thank you for sharing it." John walked out into the cool night air, the sound of clapping still echoing behind him. He looked up at the stars and thought about how his father always said music was a gift you could give without ever running out of it. That night, John decided he would never keep that gift locked away again. The lesson? Sometimes people will set you up to fail. They'll underestimate you, laugh at you, and wait for you to stumble. But your worth isn't measured by their expectations, measured by what you choose to do in those moments. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right.